Lutron's goal is to help you get off your project on time and on budget. There are certain things we need you to do to be prepared for your startup visit. By looking at lessons learned from projects of all sizes, Lutron has learned that a successful install usually comes down to a few key factors. I'll go over some of those items that will help make your project installation and startup go as smooth as possible. We also want to make sure that you have the appropriate contact information and that you know who to contact with various questions. So how do you know when you're ready for startup, and how do you schedule the startup? Find out from the Lutron Project Manager what the estimated startup time is. Use the estimated startup time and the turnover date to find the date that the Lutron tech needs to be on site to begin your startup. Everything needs to be installed by the date the tech is scheduled to commence startup. Use the EC pre-startup checklist to ensure you have everything complete that is required to commence startup. I will explain the EC pre-startup checklist in a moment. Lutron has a lead time of approximately 2 to 3 weeks for startup visits. Please call Lutron Scheduling 2 to 3 weeks before you need your startup visit scheduled. If you get closer to the scheduled startup date and you realize you won't be ready, call Lutron Scheduling 4 business days prior to your scheduled date to reschedule. Please have your Lutron job number available anytime you're calling Lutron Scheduling. This will help them to ensure they are looking at the correct job. This job number can be found on the black Lutron power panels, on the submittal, or on the confirmation emails from scheduling. Always keep your Lutron Project Manager up to date on the job status. If you don't know who your Lutron Project Manager is, Lutron Scheduling or the Lutron tech that attended your pre-wire visit can help you find out who it is and get you that contact information. It is very important to ensure that you have the latest approved revision of the drawing, submittals, and the other prints for your project. This can be found on most of the pages in the Lutron submittal. The Lutron Project Manager will know what the latest revision is. Keep your Lutron Project Manager updated with any new bulletin releases if they need to be revised on the Lutron plans. The EC pre-startup checklist can be found in the Lutron submittal for your job. Lutron Scheduling will also attach a copy to your startup confirmation email when you schedule startup. Completion of this checklist will ensure that the items required to start programming are complete. In the Lutron submittal, you will find detailed Lutron panel schedules for each panel on the project. The name refers to the panel name from the drawing. Location should match the physical location of where it is. However, this may change due to space restrictions on site. The model number should match the model number on the label of the front cover of the physical panel exactly. Panel zone numbers on the left will match up with the terminal blocks in the panel. The zone name typically matches what is on the reflective ceiling plans or circuit designations commonly referred to as switch legs. How the actual panel is wired should match exactly to the Lutron panel schedule. There is a load type marked for each zone or switch leg. If the actual load type is different than what is on the panel schedule, the Lutron Project Manager needs to be notified. If you deviate from the one-line drawings, you must annotate it. For example, aux sensors should be wired to the inputs per the one lines. If for some reason they are not wired as per the one lines, it must be marked and corrected on the drawing. Be careful when deviating from the one-line drawings. If not figured properly, the system could fail, causing damage, delay completion, or possible additional costs. It's always best to speak to the Lutron Project Manager prior to making any changes. As you think about how to run your communication cables, keep in mind that there are maximum distance runs for links and equipment. For example, the QS link and power panel link have a max length depending on the gauge of wire you use. This chart can be found on the install guide or on the cover page of most Lutron submittals. If you exceed the specified limit or use wire that is out of the Lutron spec, devices will have problems communicating with the system and the wire may need to be replaced. Walk through the space noting that all devices have power. Each wired device should have an LED. This LED may be on solid or blinking, depending on the type of device or if it is yet programmed. The LEDs lighting up may not mean the communication is good, but it does mean that the device has power. Wired occupancy sensors will light up when they detect motion. You can see the LEDs come on through the cover. You should not see LEDs cycling from bottom to top. This is referred to as reverse waterfall. If you find this on any device, refer to the QS Link video, the install guide, or call Lutron Tech Support. This usually indicates a wiring issue preventing communication on the link. You can also help startup efficiency by noting serial numbers for devices on the one lines or on the layouts. This will help us identify where each piece of equipment is when programming the database. At a minimum, serial numbers should be noted for devices that are difficult to get to or up in ceilings. By focusing on the quality and completeness of your install, you can limit the need for troubleshooting during Lutron startup. This will go a long way to help maintain the completion of the project on time and on budget. Refer to the install guides in the submittal or on lutron.com to answer questions you may have. Also, feel free to use your Lutron Field Service Engineer or your Lutron Project Manager as a reference to help with these questions. The more questions we can answer before we show up for startup, the better the startup will go. Lutron scheduling and Lutron tech support can be reached at 1-844-LUTRON-1. Follow the voice prompts to schedule a field service visit or to reach tech support. Also ensure that you have contact information for your Lutron project manager.